We did get harassed in one of our early photo shoots for having a rainbow flag near some conservatives' property. And he basically chased us away, which was scary.
Hi, and welcome to the Queer Vision podcast. I'm Becca, and this is my co-founder and co-host.
Co-star or can I call on? And this is my child. Sound off below what their name should be.
I say banana. Anyway,
Not banana.
okay, so we are at the Queer Vision
That's
podcast.
cool.
Today was a little bit hectic because we had to use Zoom instead of what we usually use. So bear with us in case this is weird. But today we sat down with Alex from Sorta Spooky band. They are amazing. They are insightful. They know a lot about music because they studied guitar. And they had a lot of insight about what it's like to have a queer band in the South. So keep listening and follow them at the end.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us on the Queer Vision pod today. Normally, we just start out by asking you to introduce yourself, your name, your pronouns, and just give a little short blurb about who you are and all that fun stuff.
Cool. Okay. My name is Alex. I'm gender fluid, so I'm cool with any pronouns, though most people will call me she, her. Although I've been trying to encourage my friends to switch it up at random to confuse all of the cisgender straight people out there. Love it. I like the chaos. And I'm the creator of Sorta Spooky, the all-queer band.
I'm so excited to be sitting down with you today because I know I've seen your all's work for a while and followed socially, but I don't think we've ever met in person or crossed paths. So it's really exciting to sit down and get to talk to you and learn more about everything that y'all have been doing.
Yeah. I've been really pushing it for the past, I guess, 2 years, maybe more like 3, probably 3, that it's actually been happening.
How did you get started doing this?
Well, I've tried and failed many, many times way before Sorta Spooky. I basically wanted to be a musician since I was 5 and started taking lessons when I was 10. And then I started trying to make bands in high school before I knew I was queer. But being a woman, although I don't look like it right now, being a woman growing up, you get harassed a lot trying to be in bands with men. So I first started trying to make all girl bands, and then that never really worked out. Not enough girls in my high school that played. And then in college is when I started trying to make a queer band. I actually really wanted to make a drag king band in college, and I just never could find the people. So eventually I actually went through a really, really bad breakup, and then I was attacked by a dog that punctured my fingers. So I had holes in my fingers, and that was like a life flash before your eyes moment. And that's what actually pushed me to try one more time and make it happen.
I love that. And I love that, I don't know, doing it in the South too, I think is so powerful because I imagine that comes with its own set of challenges, getting out there and finding, I don't know, events or venues and whatnot. Has that been something that you've ran into a lot? You feel I guess, versus heteronormative musicians, I assume?
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle. A lot of queer spaces, like bars and stuff, they don't really do live music as much. They're starting to now because I've definitely pushed it with some, and I feel like they're open to it, but they're more used to hosting drag performers.
Yeah.
So having to push to be in those queer spaces is one side of things, and then also dealing with straight people is another thing. I don't always perform in drag. This is more of a newer thing. The past maybe year I've been performing in drag. But all of my songs are you can't take out the queer songs. One of my songs is called Butch Blues. You can't take that away. You can't hide that. It's there. I haven't had issues with at least not in or playing somewhere being told that we couldn't come back or that something we did wasn't okay. Haven't had any issues there. And I haven't actually been harassed in person for shows. We did get harassed in one of our early photo shoots for having a rainbow flag near some conservatives' property. And he basically chased us away, which was scary.
So how does going about getting booked as a queer band work for you? Because I know we kind of have a little experience with vendor markets and with drag performances, but what's the difference for the band?
What the difference between drag performers would be, since I haven't actually helped on that end, but I can tell you about the band end. It is hell, honestly. It's not fun. It's the worst part about being in a band, and I do right now all of it. I've never had band members who actually wanted to help me with the booking part. Although my band members right now are very new and they are up to that, so no like shame on them. But basically, I've done like I will send emails out. I actually have a list. I'm a nerd. I have a Google Docs with like every single place I go to and see that I feel like is queer friendly
Mhm.
and has live music. And then I put their contact information and then I'll put if I've reached out to them and if they've responded and all that. And that's how I keep up with it. But I email, I will call, I'll go in person sometimes, although I don't do that one as much unless it's
Mhm.
like near me or I happen to be at an event. You can also go through other bands. There's actually a lot of other queer bands out there. I think Sorta Spooky is probably the most vocal about being queer. Like we're like we are. It's on. I have a business card, and it is on the business card, queer rock band. But there are a lot of other ones that are kind of like just a little more down low about it, and you can get on the bill with them. So
Mhm.
if you make connections with other bands, they'll bring you into shows. You can reach out to places on your own, and then occasionally places just start to reach out to you, which is cool. I've started to have that happen. Most of my shows for this October, I didn't actually book myself. They reached out to me, so that was like a nice break. It's a lot of work.
It definitely seems very similar to that of like starting a drag show as well. Like it's very much a similar process, going through finding the venues in the area that seem queer friendly enough, calling, emailing, all that stuff. And then
Yeah.
also, who helps. It's just the entertainment industry as a whole, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it kind of just comes down to asking.
that
Even if it's a place that doesn't normally do music, like one of our very first shows was at Twist in Greensboro, and they
Mhm.
don't really do music. They've only had a couple bands play there, and we were I think we were technically the second one that played there just because I asked.
No, that's so real. Like our first show that we ever did was surprisingly in Smithfield. And yeah, even though it didn't last too long out here, the door at least opened when I was like, hey, like I've never seen this before, but let's do it. And they were open to it. So yeah, I hold that like the closed mouths don't get fed kind of thing. I think it's so important to just ask for what you want. In the worst case, somebody's gonna say no. And then
Yeah.
you move on.
Absolutely. I think it helps too to show up for other performers
Oh
and the
yeah,
community.
100%.
And that's like my philosophy. Every
Mhm.
time I get new band members in, I'm always telling them that if we want people to show up for us, we need to show up for them. So I'm always going to other band shows and a lot of drag shows. I'm a big fan of all the drag performers, so I'm always taking videos and posting them and trying to get other people to like check them out from Sorta Spooky's page, building that community.
And you all have done, I know there's been at least one show that you've done like live music for a drag show, correct?
Yeah, two now technically, and we're
Yeah,
coming up
awesome.
on our third one.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's something I've been pushing for a while. I've been like saying I want drag performers to perform with the band and being ignored basically for a long time. The first one we did was in Raleigh at
I think that was the one I heard
Raleigh.
about.
Yeah, with Rose and Riot. They organized it. And that was so much fun. I met a lot of my now drag friends there. And then from that performance, I got to perform with Coupe de Ville. I'm like a big fan of Coupe at this point.
Mhm.
They know it. I'm kind of obsessed because we're both little demon twinks. That's
Yeah,
just so much fun. And I asked them to perform for Greensboro Pride. So we only got to do one song for Greensboro Pride, but it was the coolest moment of probably of my life.
that's so exciting. Like I can see I feel like you definitely have to be able to bounce off each other and improv a little bit because live music, there's always little things that can change in it. So I feel
Yeah.
like that is almost like a challenge, but I would imagine is exciting.
Yeah, you never know if we're gonna like get a little lost or messed up. We didn't on that one though. Villain is like the first single that I've put out and is
Mhm.
on Spotify. So that one there's no guitar solo or anything.
Mhm.
There's nothing crazy. It's kind of easy to stay on track with it.
Mm.
But it was really interesting because I only knew a few of the things that like Coop was gonna do. Like we didn't
Mhm.
rehearse together. So
Yeah.
I knew that they were gonna start off standing behind me and I knew that they were going to pretend like they were breaking a guitar, which was a blow up guitar that I got because we needed
Mhm.
safety reasons. That was my idea. So I knew that was going to happen.
Mhm.
And that's all I knew. The rest of it
Exciting.
happened naturally. Us interacting happened naturally. The photo now for my single is actually me on the Greensboro Pride stage and then Coop behind me with like a rock sign up or something. It looks so cool. It's like one of my favorite photos.
Almost like elevates that theatrical element of drag. Like already it's like sisters with theater kids, but like
Yes.
this kind of just like marries them even more. I love that.
Yeah, it's so cool, and it is honestly really good for me too because that's the side that I'm very weak on, like the actual stage presence, I guess. I've gotten better, like I actually show emotions on my face now, but like my biggest fear was actually singing in front of people, so I had to overcome that. I've only been singing for like 3 years in front of people. I'm really a guitarist, so I just wanted to play lead in the back, nothing else
Mm.
and run the band from there, but I couldn't find a singer that would like stick with it, and then here we are. So I've never been all that social or good with like interacting with a crowd, and drag performers are so good at that. I guess maybe that's why I like them so much. I don't know. I'm very like inspired by the way they interact with people.
I have to commend you on that, honestly, because I personally know how hard that is. Like, that was one of the biggest things that kept me from starting drag for so long was I was like, I can do the look, I have the creativity, but like, I don't have the personality is what I would always like tell myself. And then there just came a point where it was like, I'm just feeding, I don't know, like the realization that I was like, actually, I can do this if I really want to and set my mind to it. And it definitely is hard. Like, it's so hard. It's so easy, I feel like, to get in your head when you're on a stage and there's so many people like staring at you, like, but when you find the vibe, I guess, and the more you practice with it, it definitely gets easier over
Yeah,
time.
I can't
yeah,
imagine
for
you
sure.
not as a performer.
I know
That's
I kind of
that's
can't
weird.
either right now anymore, but it's crazy. Like,
There's different types of like standards for performing as musicians. So like I went to college for guitar, for classical guitar. Like I'm that much of a nerd. And in that realm, I was the perfect performer because I showed no emotion on my face. Didn't matter if I made a mistake or if I played something really great. There was nothing going on here. It was all about the music. That's what it's supposed to be. But when you're performing in like a rock band, that's not, I mean, it works okay if you're like playing lead guitar, then you're mysterious and stuff. But if you're the front of the band, then you can't just stand there and play and sing and not do anything. So having to unlearn that,
yeah.
yeah. But it's fun. I like it. I'm starting to really enjoy it. If I could just get more comfortable with like taking little videos to put on TikTok, we'd get some.
That's so real. Like, it always leaves my mind. I feel like I get so caught up in an event every time because I just want to be like present and here. And then I'm like, now there's no pictures and no anything. And we live in a digital age.
You gotta promote. You gotta do that promo.
No.
I'm over here like I can't remember it if I don't take videos and pictures. So
Well, that makes me feel good about my memory.
thanks.
So, anyway, segue back to the conversation. Sorry. Did you grow up in North Carolina? Have you always lived here?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm actually not even that far from where I grew up. I didn't grow up in Greensboro. I grew up in a small town, Graham,
I think I've heard.
30 minutes away.
Wow.
I technically don't live in Greensboro either. I live out in the country, but it's very close.
Do you like the country life? Is that like a path you've chosen, or is it just like where you're at right now?
It's kind of a mix. I bought the house that I have now with a now ex because she wanted to be out in the country. She was very much didn't want anything to do with people, and I very much want to be part of the community. But we kind of met in the middle and found a place that's like I'm 25 minutes from downtown Greensboro.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not like it feels out in the country when you get out there. It's like a little neighborhood that's then surrounded by farms, and then like my house is surrounded by woods. But you can easily get to all the crazy stuff going on if you want. But I do like living out here. It's very peaceful, and I can be loud with the band, which is a huge benefit. If I had to pay for a practice space, that would really stink.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Set up every time and break down instead of just leaving it in my garage.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel like a little bit about Smithfield. Like, I don't know, it feels kind of similar. Like, it's 35 minutes from Raleigh downtown. So I'm like, okay, still kind of can have that life, but have a little bit of peace.
And quiet.
Yeah.
Unless there's festivals going on downtown for no reason that you didn't know about.
Yeah.
It happens more often than you think.
Yeah, I don't think I could live in Raleigh. I get stressed out with the big cities and the cars, and Driving a hearse through a city is stressful. Though I've done it. I've driven it to Raleigh 2 times now. It's a lot to park that bitch.
I can imagine. Is that like your band car? Or is it like your personal? Okay.
It's my band car. My personal car is like a sad piece of shit that I've had since high school that I don't know how it's still going.
Hey.
That's fair. Was this like an aesthetic choice or was it because it fits all of your stuff? Or both?
Both. It was an aesthetic choice because it's cool. It's got all the space. So I can literally put all of our equipment in one car, and it's really good for marketing. So it's got our logo on the side.
That's right.
And when we get booked for like shows in October, and not in October, because people do like hearses outside of the spooky season, but I can always offer it as like, you can take photos inside it. It's like its own attraction, sets us aside a little bit from other bands.
Good marketing.
Cool.
Good marketing.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's fun. I think that she's the most popular member of the band by far.
I love.
I mean, all I can think of right now is Ghostbusters.
Yeah. That's actually why I did I put my logos on the door where the Ghostbusters logo is. I was thinking that too. And in fact, the hearse that I have, it's a 1993 chassis, which means a chassis Cadillac, which means that it was made and then finished by a third party. So it actually could have been made into an ambulance like Ghostbusters. It could have gone either direction.
Interesting.
Cool. Yeah, some nerdy her stuff. After you buy one, you gotta do a lot of research.
Yeah, for real.
I did not realize that they could be the same.
But that kind of makes sense looking at it.
Some of them can, not all of them. Like technically, it says Fleetwood on the side, which is a model also, but that's a model that is made into a hearse by Cadillac.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I do have like a hot question apparently for you two. With my physical therapist, we were talking about Halloween movies. I found out he has not watched any that I consider Halloween movies. Then I talked to my boyfriend, and he says he doesn't consider any movies that I consider Halloween movies. Halloween movies, except for Hocus Pocus and Practical Magic. Do you consider Ghostbusters to be a Halloween movie?
I don't know. I feel like yes, kind of. I don't know. I would say yes, probably.
I would think so. I mean, it just as much as Practical Magic it is. I mean, that could be it. They could both be any time of year movies too, but they're definitely when Halloween comes around, you want to watch those.
That's what I said. He said because it takes place at Christmas time.
No.
It's not a Halloween movie.
What about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Christmas is like, Christmas can be Halloween too, We've got...
It's all costumes.
It's all Halloween to me.
So, I know you said you kind of like consider like you get into drag when you are performing. So would you ever consider like going, I don't know, more of the drag route ever? Like, is that something you want to experiment in, or do you want to stay strictly like in the band world? I know there is a little bit of overlap already, but I guess, yeah.
Yeah. I would say probably stick to the band world because I don't dance. I don't know how to dance at all. I've just gotten to the point where I move a little bit, but I'll only do it with a guitar.
Yeah.
Like even like I've done karaoke once in my life. It was terrifying. And it was recent. It was very recent. It was a couple months ago. Without my guitar, I oddly feel naked, which is funny because I have performed with like no shirt under this vest before, and that feels fine, but no guitar.
It is crazy. We feel like are a part of our body sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely feel like the guitar is a part of my body. That's why I don't let people touch my guitar.
They're also
musicians ask, and I'm like, no, that's mine. If it's a red guitar, it's definitely one you can't touch. If it was like that one back there, I'd let somebody touch. I don't actually play that one at all.
So you said you've wanted to be a musician like ever since you were younger. So when did you start, like what age did you start like, I guess, learning instruments or playing music or any of that?
I started taking guitar lessons when I was 10.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost been 20 years. I'll be 30 in February. So it's pretty close, but it's not that close.
It inspired to do it.
I think part of it was because my dad had a guitar and he always wanted to be in a band and he wouldn't. Yeah, this was definitely it. I was a very stubborn child and he had this big black acoustic guitar and he wouldn't let me touch it. He would say, no, you don't know how to play it. And I think that made me want to learn. And then my mom signed me up for lessons, but she was like, you're not going to stick with it, which then of course made me think, watch me. now here we are. I have a degree in it and I teach guitar. So I blame them.
Can I ask what's your zodiac sign?
Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that.
I know nothing about Aquariuses, so I can't.
Yeah. At first I was like, I don't know, this statement was very Aries, but I think it's also your look right now that was like making me lean towards that. Cause I'm like, all the red, the horns.
Yeah. That's my favorite color. Everything I own is red. Literally, like, even when I'm not dressed like Satan, my whole wardrobe is red and black. So this very much feels just like an extension of myself.
I wish I could stick to an aesthetic like that, but
It weirds some people out. I hadn't I thought it was really weird that all of my clothes were red and black. And I'm like, why does that bother you?
Honestly starting to get to that point because I think like I don't know, if you look at a lot of very successful people too, a lot of them do limit like their clothing choices. And I feel like part of that comes from like, I don't know, it takes a lot of brain power if you're constantly like, I don't know, questioning what you're wearing every single day. I feel like narrowing it down to like a color palette or something can be powerful. Yeah. I
I
think
think
I
it makes
just,
it kind of memorable too.
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, one of the reason why I had one of my bandmates ended up leaving the band was partly because they were jealous of the fact that people recognized me and not them. And I told all of them, when I first started doing drag, everybody was going to do drag. It was going to be like drag classic monsters, and they all wanted to switch what monsters they were doing. And I told them, I'm like, that's fine, but I'm going to stick with this one, and that's probably going to be what people remember, and that's pretty much exactly what happened.
yeah, it's like branding of sorts.
Yeah. And that has to be, I'm trying to think of how to structure this question. Sorry. How has like that been through the years with the band? So I know you said some of your band members are like newer. Do you feel like that's a challenging kind of aspect of
Yeah.
like running a band, like being able to, keep people who are,
Yeah, that's probably the worst part, finding people and keeping people, because everybody has different expectations of what they want out of a band. And you can, even if you make it really clear, which I feel like I do, I actually have written out guidelines and like expectations of how often we're trying to play, the direction it's going in, expectations of how much you should be practicing and how long of sets we'll be playing. All of that is like written out to try to prevent some of these problems, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It often doesn't. I think people just don't quite know what they want always when coming in, especially if you've been in a band before.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially when you label it as a queer band, they like the idea of the community that it builds and the friendship and getting to play music with other queers, because you get harassed if you are playing with like cisgendered men mostly. I mean, women are usually fine. So the idea of being in a queer band where people actually understand what you're going through and are writing music that is more relevant to you is a beautiful thing. But if you're not all on the same page of how much work you want to put in, then that creates a lot of issues. So I've had most people have quit when it's become too much. And a lot of people are good about like knowing when that's the case. Like my current drummer right now only really joined temporarily and is planning to leave at the latest by the end of February. He'd prefer to be done by December probably, but he also kind of wants to play for the big February show we have. So he's like, if I had to stay that long, that's fine. But he's going to like law school. So he knows that the direction the band is going is like too much. Too many shows. And that's all fine. When someone gives me that much notice, it's so nice. Doesn't usually happen, but that gives me time to find someone else. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes people get too attached and then they try to kind of slow the band down and like limit how far we're traveling or how often we're playing. And that doesn't work out really well for me since I want to make it happen.
I think like it's a refreshing perspective to kind of hear you talk about it too, because I feel like a lot of like from people outside of like the band world or the music world, I feel like it almost looks like it is kind of like I don't know, this tight bond and like the family mentality. And while I think that can be important, like it is kind of a business in a way, you know? And I think it's important to like bring light to the fact that like it is a job, it is a business. And of course it can be other things too, but it's the same way like with drag or other forms of entertainment. Like, I mean, I know we even dealt with a similar thing. Like when we started our business, there were a lot of people that started with us and artists that were like really, really excited. And then they were like, oh, this is more than we thought it was going to be. Like, I don't have the bandwidth for this.
And looking at it and seeing, they're like, oh yeah, I can do that without actually seeing how much it was going to take. And I think we've even done that since then and been like, yeah, we can handle that. And then it actually happens. We're like, I need a break. This is a lot. Let's have a
Yeah.
discussion about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like a lot of times they're here, they're good for the fun part, but the moment it gets stressful,
Yeah.
Mm.
don't want that. That's what
Also,
my last group,
yeah.
even though
I mean,
I kept trying to say, look, it is work. You have to practice regularly. So many things can go wrong when you're playing live music too. Like
Mm.
I take on a lot of roles other than just like I run the social media and I book the shows and I play now rhythm and lead and sing. But I also was fixing instruments for my bandmates.
Mm.
Have that ability, and we don't make a lot of money. If we make any money, half the time like you don't make any money playing shows in a band because you have to split it four ways if you're a four-piece
Yeah.
band. So like I'm doing whatever I can to help support them and make it worth their whiles,
Mm.
fixing instruments, providing snacks, providing rides so they don't have to use any gas to get to shows. And that's all very stressful.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like sometimes you'll get excited in something thinking it's a hobby and then realize that it becomes work. And so it becomes stressful. And I think that's a natural progression. But then also, you were talking about the community aspect. And I think a lot of people in today's age do not have the community they need because of the separation of everything being overworked and blah, 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 blah. But I think because they didn't grow up with that community that they needed, they don't realize that community also is inconvenient. And
Yes.
so sometimes you have to put in more work than you think you're going to get out what you need to. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not the right community for you. And that's fair. That's fine. Make that judgment. But also, we live in a world where people are afraid to be uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. It surprised me a lot how much work it actually takes to find your community. When I first started doing this, I was not very social. I didn't talk at all in high school. I didn't talk in college. I had very severe social anxiety, and I mostly hung out with my like childhood friends who are also all happen to be queer. Like we knew each other before we all knew we were gay and we all kind of came out together. But they're all married and settled down and don't go out. And so then I started going out on my own and trying to find where people my age were going was so difficult. I mean, I was going to a lot of queer meetups and nobody was showing up. Or if anybody was showing up, it was just the older lesbians.
Yeah.
But
That's
all
honestly
like
what we're seeing too sometimes as we go and we see the same bubble of people, which is fair. We love those people. But I think that's also why we're trying so hard to branch out and reach so many other people to pull people together as much as we can.
yeah.
Not convenient. We're doing it.
It's a lot of work, and that's actually why I started working with oh, I have two black cats too.
Oh,
What are their names?
Dimitri and Prim.
Oh, this is Bagheera.
Cute, cute. Mine aren't able to come in because I have the door closed, but that looks a lot. They look a lot like Prim.
Anyway,
Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I started working with Fruit Cup, which is just like a local queer meetup in Greensboro that happens once a month, and people were actually coming out to that. And so I started working with the original creator to that, and we created Fruit Fest, which we actually host at my house. So we put on the flyer like DM for address so that I don't have to put my address online. But we would have everybody come out and do like a jam and do a raffle to raise money for whatever nonprofit we wanted to raise money for that time. And we're trying to encourage people to like donate services that were helpful that could help somebody else in the community. And we've started like building community that way. And that also brought me then to the Grove drag shows at ETC, which is where our next show is this coming Saturday. So like there's Fruit Cup and there's the Grove and then there's Fetish Fridays at Twist now that are finally starting to get people to come out, and it's happening and they're starting to connect, and it's really cool to see, but it's taken a really long time to find.
yeah. And I think, I don't know, I love to see that, I don't know, just like the alternative side of entertainment kind of flourishing, it feels like a little bit in Greensboro. Like it's
Yeah.
really popping off lately, and that makes me happy. I feel like Durham is kind of a close second to it, but I don't know. I just appreciate seeing like the growth that's happening
especially
Yeah.
seeing you probably lose it.
a little bit, but
Yeah.
There's still some places, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the alt drag scene,
Mhm,
especially. I just feel like super comfortable around all of them, and I've never really felt like I fit in anywhere
mhm.
before then. And I'm still kind of an oddball. Like I don't drink or smoke, and I'm demisexual and monogamous, so I am like I stick out, but they all make me feel like I'm part of the family. It's such a wonderful group of people.
I mean,
That's really
so,
great.
okay, what was it like for you growing up then? I know now you're starting to find that community and the people that you feel connected with, but what was it like when you were younger?
I actually didn't realize I was queer until I was probably 18 or 19, because that's when I got my first ever crush. That's the thing about being demisexual is without that emotional connection, you never get a crush. So it's kind of hard to tell who you're even attracted to in the first place.
That's fair.
So yeah, growing up though really was not so bad for me, even though I had hard times socially. I have the best parents in the world.
Mm,
They're super supportive. I never really thought of myself as like as a woman because my parents didn't make me feel like I had to be any certain way. They'd buy
mhm,
me
Mhm.
toys that were boy toys or girl toys, like they whatever we wanted to play with. All of my siblings were tomboys, basically. Um, and we were just allowed to be ourselves and be free. And my neighbor that I grew up with was very obviously gay, and my parents knew that. And we were letting him play with our Polly Pockets, and we play with the Ninja Turtles, and it was a very supportive space. And my parents continue to be very supportive. They come to a lot of my shows, and they don't even get mad at me when I correct them constantly when they don't use they pronouns for somebody. They really struggle with that. But even when I get annoyed with them, they take it.
It's amazing. I feel like we don't hear that very often when we're
Yeah.
talking to people that they had such supportive parents growing up. So that's
I think that that's part of what has made me so successful with Sorta Spooky, and also has like allowed me to have so much energy to be out in the community and support others because I have a freakish amount of energy. I've not met anybody who can keep up with the thing that I keep up with, and I 100% think it's because of that.
mhm.
I feel like a mostly healed person. Not to say that I didn't have any trauma in my childhood,
Yeah.
but I had that like support to get
Mhm.
me through it.
Yeah. I think that's so important. And it's, I don't know, nice to hear that other side of the coin, you know? Oh my gosh, I don't remember where we were. I'm sorry. That's crazy.
because I don't remember.
That's crazy.
I think
Um,
sometimes I zone out when you talk
okay. Okay.
because usually I've heard the story already.
Okay, T, I guess. Well, yeah, but no, it's good. I think it's nice when people are also able to hear the other side of the coin, you know, people that did have parents that let them express themselves and not really put like a strong constraint of gender. Like my family has definitely had its issues, but I'm really grateful that the majority of my family's also kind of been the same way. Like when I used to grow up, my grandfather would always, like every Friday would be like a present day, and I'd sit on the couch and he'd always surprise me with something. And it most of the time was like a girl toy, but it was never a big deal. And it definitely does, I don't know, I feel like allow a lot of space for creativity and growth and freedom and how you look at the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, I honestly think it's just filled me with so much love. That's what makes me so kind
Mhm.
and gentle, ironically, dressed as Satan. Don't let anybody tell you that Satan's not the kindest, most caring person you ever meet. Nicest little demon boy.
It's adorable. No, I think
I vibe with Coop so well, you know. Coop's a very silly little demon.
yeah.
Y'all do have a very similar energy, I will say.
Why did we not interviewed Coop?
We have interviewed Coop. It
Yeah,
was
actually,
literally on the,
Oh yeah, because it was a group. That's why.
yeah,
Okay, never mind.
yeah.
Sorry.
I watched a couple of y'all's interviews before this, and I of course picked out my friends.
yeah.
I watched Thy Furies.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think whenever we're not put into that box of gender, it really relieves a lot of stress that society puts on us. I mean, we've talked multiple times about the fact that like trans people existing makes that binary not make sense, which is why some people think that trans people shouldn't exist because they want those boxes because they want you to go this specific way. And if you're fighting towards going that specific way, then you're not fighting anything else.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's refreshing to see this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what's so nice about being around so many of the alt drag performers. I mean, so many of them aren't even necessarily drag queens or drag kings. You get a lot of like the gender neutral and gender fluid
Mhm.
options. And I love that so much. Honestly, dressing in drag is what's allowed me to even be a little bit more feminine. Like, I did not know how to do makeup growing up. I just learned how to do makeup probably a year ago. And I normally would not do like all this with my eyes. But when I'm doing it in a masculine way, it makes me feel comfortable in a different way. It's like I like that balance of having like the more feminine looking eyes with a beard underneath.
Yes. I love that though. I think I kind of have a similar way too. Like my gender journey has been all over the place, truly. And at the end of the day, I'm just like a gender queer individual. But I think the more that I've like been able to allow myself to really experience both sides of my gender, I don't know, the more comfortable I become with all of it and like being somewhere outside of it. Because I was also watching this video the other day, and I don't know if you all have heard about like the performative male kind of thing that's going around right now. I don't know. It's some weird trend.
I don't know.
But anyway, I fell in this deep hole about how like gender is just performance. And I don't know. That's so real. I think all of it is a performance, and we're choosing whether we want to perform on one side or the other, whether we subconsciously do it or not. I think.
You know what though? I
Yeah.
think it's honestly a performance only because of society, because
Well, yeah, I agree.
it's like it doesn't nothing that we do actually is feminine or masculine, like wearing nail polish or whatever. It doesn't until society puts a definition on it.
Yeah.
Or an assignment on it or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like that old example that pink used to be the color for boys.
Mhm.
Or heels used to be.
Way back in the day. Yeah, heels were meant to be masculine.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's all just socially constructed.
Do you ever just like look at all the things that are socially constructed and then just have like a little bit of an existential crisis? Because like there's no such thing as breakfast food. And like the only reason that I want to wear these clothes is because somebody told me to something or whatever. And like gender doesn't actually exist. And then am I actually feminine? And that whole spiral.
I've been there before many of times.
Not alone.
It's all just made up. I feel like I don't think about it as much now, especially having had parents who encouraged me. Like my mom always encouraged me to question everything, even though they were Christians. I'm not, and they're also supportive of that. But they're the reason that I questioned the stuff in the Bible or literally anything society said. I remember being in church and them saying that like animals don't have souls, and I was like, no, that's not true. My brain was just like, no, that's dumb. I don't like that. So I guess I haven't been like stirring the pot for a really long time at this point. I don't even
just used to this.
whatever I want in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, even time, like how we measure time is all social. I
Yeah.
did an entire thesis my senior year of high school on clocks and time and their effects on society. It was a lot, dude.
Yeah.
It's all social. If you go to a different social structure, they don't care about minutes.
It is weird when you start thinking about it, especially time and stuff like that, because we all experience time so differently.
What?
Don't look at me like that.
I like plan down to the second. And then Cody's like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing and this thing. And then
Different flavors of 88.
everything. Yeah, it is for sure. It's kind of fun existing near each other though.
So you said you started a few bands before Sorta Spooky. Did those just like was something you felt like out of interest with, or was it just didn't hit the right chord, or
Well, they just didn't like take shape at all. I would either find no people who actually wanted to be in it, or I'd have a couple and then wouldn't ever find like the pieces that we needed. Or I had a few people who wanted to be in a band with me in college, and then we had like one meeting and that was it. It just like didn't happen. People realize they're too busy, or I think it's just intimidating to start a band and to be in a band. So really no other band actually happened. It was just a lot of failed attempts trying to make one happen. I was in another band that I didn't start as a lead guitar player for over a year called Bad Kitty that was like mostly older lesbians. Pretty fun. But that band only performed like twice a year, and I moved to like perform a lot. So then I
Did
started.
you sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Did you always know like that was kind of your goal was to like perform a lot and like make it a core element of your life?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be in a band and that be
Mhm.
like my
Mhm.
main thing that I did, but I also knew reality is it's so hard to make money and keep
Mhm.
it together. And it's basically impossible. I mean, it's not literally impossible, but you
Mhm.
tell yourself that all the time. And everybody else tells you that. All the other musicians, tell you that. And when
Mhm.
you try to do it and you realize you're playing all these shows and you're not making anything at all.
Mhm.
Literally had a show where we all made $6 and that was it
Yeah.
for 45 minutes of us playing and like the unload. I mean, it takes like a good 30 minutes to set up and then loading back into the hearse and on top of the 45 minutes, it can be pretty discouraging on that end. So between the social issues and the money issues, it just didn't seem like something that was ever going to happen, even though I kept
Mhm.
trying to make it happen. I'd put up flyers and I'd go to open mic nights and I would I have like a band mix account, which is like the dumbest thing ever that is not useful in North Carolina. Maybe it'd be useful in California, but it is not helpful here. It's like
Mhm.
a social media and networking site for musicians. So I tried everything I could possibly think of to find other band members other than getting on stage and singing myself. That was the one
Mhm.
thing I did not want to do. And once I did that, it happened.
It is interesting how the universe can like push you in certain ways like that.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of feels like I had like the universe wanted me to use my voice, which
Where do
is
you see
kind of
yourself?
poetic.
Oh, sorry.
I am.
Um, where do you see yourself going from now, though? Like, what is your goal? I mean, obviously, it's to have a lot of shows and to make money from them and stuff like that. But like overall, where do you see Sorta Spooky going?
I would love to get to the point where we could go on some like little tours, which I have had some interests. I've had people who want us to come out to like Chattanooga or Nashville. I think it would be really easy to do a small tour to like through
Mhm.
Nashville, North Carolina, down to Nashville or something, and do some stuff like that. I'd really like to get to the point where we had a solid enough following where we were getting asked to like play for bigger bands at some of the bigger, more well known venues.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, I would say like like maybe 100,000 followers is like where I want it to stop. Like
Mhm.
I don't
Okay.
want I mean, I wouldn't mind having more followers, but I don't want to like move to California and
Mhm.
do that route. Like I want to be kind of like a cult following local band that
Mhm.
pulls the country a little bit in a weird ass hearse playing music for
Mhm.
gays. That's what I want to do. If I got to the point where I could just work a part-time job and do a band, I'd be pretty happy with that. If I could cut down on my
Mhm.
other jobs because I have 2 other jobs,
Real.
put more time into the band, that would be cool. And I'd like to put out a full album, but I usually like to set, like, small goals that I know I can reach. Like, one of my goals is that I really wanna play at the Hall River Ballroom because that's where I graduated. I actually gave the speech for my high school graduation because I was the salutatorian.
Oh wow.
So I'd like to perform there, or I'd like to perform at the Mothman Festival, which I think in a few years could happen.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I think that's a good way to look at it too. Like, I don't know. I think it really does being in the entertainment industry, like take a little bit of both sides of the coin, right? You have to have a little bit of like the naiveness and like I don't know, the hope aspect, like taking risks and doing things that, maybe won't pay off. But then you have to also have the realistic mindset of like, okay, some of these things aren't going to pay off immediately, like I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be like going on a world tour. But
Yeah.
I think when you can find that nice balance and then also find like where you really want to see yourself, it makes the whole experience so much more pleasant and makes it more about the journey, even though
Yeah.
you still have a goal.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, you have to appreciate like every little step forward you take.
Hmm.
Like just
Exactly.
getting one song on Spotify. My goal for this month was to get to 50 listeners by the end of October, which I did already.
That's awesome.
Into October, so that was a too easy goal, I guess. But you have to appreciate like all the little things that are coming together
Hmm.
each step of the way, and that helps keep you motivated to keep going. But a lot of the little stuff is the most inspiring
Hmm.
so being in a band. I mean, my My favorite part that I did not know was going to be a thing is now that I've been posting like my lyrics and my songs out,
Hmm.
I'll actually get people message me wanting to share their poems or their stories or
Oh, wow.
feelings about what my song meant to them. And that's really cool. Like inspiring people to feel safe to be emotionally vulnerable. Yeah, that to me is like the best part. It is fun getting recognized around town too, though. Happens quite a lot now.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting towards that hour mark. Do you have anything else that we didn't touch on that you'd like to share? And then also, can you share your socials?
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if there is anything else about being. I mean, if you want to make a band, I recommend doing it, even if it keeps failing. It's totally worth it. It's a lot of fun. Learning an instrument is a lot of fun, even if you don't want to be in a band. You should do it. It's cool. Like social medias, we're most popular on Instagram. If you type Sorta Spooky Band, that's gonna pop up. The Facebook will pop up. I think our TikTok will actually pop up on Google too. You just type in Sorta Spooky Band, we pop up first.
Awesome.
I was gonna say I was doing a little Google before just to always like to like gather some information, and I just typed in like Sorta Spooky, and then it was like Sorta Spooky Band, and like pulled it up, and I was like, okay, word.
Yeah. That's a really handy thing to have at the top. But we're on Spotify too, and apparently pretty much all of the other streaming services. You go through like a distributor, and they put your song into all of them. So I don't know all of them. Like I didn't know Tidal was a thing until my friend asked me, and I was like, oh, apparently I'm on that. So cool. And we're on Bandcamp too now.
Wow.
So it's pretty easy to find our first song. We are going to try to record Back of My Hearse and Siren's Promise, hopefully in November and December. And hope to do a photo shoot for Back of My Hearse.
Yes.
That's a dirty song about being in the back of the hearse. I'm sure you can like make make those connections. Really fun song.
It's so exciting. Well, thank you so much for like sitting down and letting us get to know you and letting the viewers get to know you a little more.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And thank you for all you're doing, like building community. I think, I don't know, it's just so important.
Yeah, for sure.
In all aspects, whether it's through art, whether it's through just visibility, like it's such a big part of community building. And I think sometimes it's easy to like overlook that, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's so worth it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll let you go and enjoy the rest of what is today? Monday?
It is Monday.
It is Monday. I can't keep track anymore. October's been crazy.
I have to go teach one of my kids now, and they've never seen me in drag, so this is gonna be funny.
Oh my God.
I do get a lot of queer students because I teach, in the South, and I'm like the only one. And they look at my picture and they're like, I'm saying I have like 5 of my students, 5 or 6. It's almost a third of my students are queer.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
The other third are too young to like. They're like 5 and stuff. They don't know. And then I've got some adults.
I love that.
It's fun. Yeah.
Well, have fun.
Thank you so much again.
You'll have to let us know what their reaction is.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey, hi, hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of The Queer Vision. I have been Koe Star or Koe of Kanakalan. This is
Hi, I'm Beck,
the co-host and co-founder of Queerlina, and this is my child. It is Bring Your Son to Work Day. And sound off below and tell me his name, because I need y'all to pick a name for him. Anyway, I'm obsessed. This was such a good episode. It was so fun getting to talk to Alex from Sorta Spooky Band about starting a queer band, about challenges they have faced creating a band in the South as a queer alternative leaning band. This was a really fun episode.
If you just listened, you should definitely watch and see their outfit because it was really cute.
And you should see my child. Hello, I'm mother. And
you should follow Sorta Spooky Band.
Yes, you should.
One of their shows.
Yes.
You should give them your money because they deserve it.
Amen. Pay a queer artist today.
Definitely.
There's plenty of them. We have a whole page of them on the website.
Yeah, so you can go to queerlina.org/featured queer. I think it's / queerlina.org. You can click on that featured queers tab and you can see the businesses and the artists and the authors and then just the guest queers that we have.
Amen.
Go support them all because they all deserve it. Find some good books, find some good music, And find some performers to follow.
And I'm gonna find my way to the bed because I've been up since 3:45 a.m. Okay,
Wait.
this was cute. This was fun. See you on the next one.
Bye.
I might have to re-record that, but